Hello, everybody. I hope that you're having a good day today so far. This is Charlie Newton, your teaching artist for today. This is Splash Live Art Studio, and we enjoy coming on and teaching these live art classes to kids age 4 to 94. So today we're going to talk about color and the power of color, and I'm also going to introduce you to a new medium or new material today. This material is called gouache, and it is similar to watercolors except that it's a lot thicker, and when it dries to a matte finish. Watercolors, when it dries, it is very transparent and you can see the paper through it. And but gouache is more like, sort of like poster paint, but not as slick. It's very tactile and tacky. And so we use gouache in an opaque manner. Gouache has been used in the past with posters and comic strips and things like that. But it has also been used by artists. Personally, I use gouache to enhance my watercolors when I feel it's necessary, when I really want to get some impasto. So I want to look at an artist whose name is Vincent Van Gogh. Vincent Van Gogh was born in 1853. I know that because I was born in 1953, so he's born 100 years before me. Vincent Van Gogh is one of my favorite artists, and because of his expressionism, he is considered a post-impressionist artist. So if it wasn't for Vincent and some other people, we might not have impressionist painting. Vincent Van Gogh was known for, the most popular painting would be Starry Night, but he also did a lot of self-portraits, and you've probably seen many of those. He's famous for his sunflowers and his haystacks. So he painted hundreds. He had hundreds of paintings. But I want to show you the power of color. And so let's look at Vincent Van Gogh's, let's look at some of his art. There's a painting of a pool hall. It's really called, the title is The Night Cafe. So Vincent would frequent these cafes and restaurants, and he often painted pictures of those restaurants. And when you look at this painting, you can see his use of color is very vibrant, and his use of brushstrokes. He even painted the light. If you can see from the lights that's hanging from the ceiling, the chandelier-like lights, he's actually painted the light. And look how dramatic his shadows are. So he likes to use bold colors, as do I. And many times I tell you, use whatever colors you want to. You don't have to use the exact colors that you see. And even though there are figures in this painting, and these figures are not in detail, they are just gestures, but you can see he's more interested in the ambiance of the room, the lighting, and this is a perfect example how you can make a bold statement by using color and brush strokes. Vincent would have painted in all colors. There's another interior entitled The Bedroom. If we can put that up. Here you have a bright painting. The sunlight is coming through the windows and it's hitting these objects in this bedroom. And I can't even find any shadows that's being cast. So you see that Van Gogh now is but he has discovered a way to express his emotions and his feelings through the use of form, shape, and color. Also, you see this one-point perspective that we've been talking about. You see pictures hanging on the wall. You see a dramatic exaggeration of the bed. When we painted, when we drew Splash, we talked about exaggerating the figure. Well, Van Gogh is exaggerating this bed in a similar way to cause drama and to bring energy to this interior. And I think it's powerful if you can paint an interior with nobody, no people in it, and still make it interesting. So I took a picture of an interior here at James A. Henry School in the West Side, where there are a lot of meetings going on right now to capture stories from the residents. And I just took a quick photo of this interior, and I just want to sort of see if I can sort of do what Van Gogh did. His first name is Vincent, and again, he painted in the 1800s, This painting, the paintings that I showed you were made around 1881, I think it was. I don't know. But anyway, it must have been 1881. I'm not sure. I may have gotten that confused. I know he was born in 1853. So, I'm going to use this interior. And I gave you that side view, didn't I? I answered those chairs? Yes. Okay. Okay. So there is the perspective is really strange on this picture. But what I'm going to try to do, when we're doing perspective, that's just one of the tools, okay? That's one of the tools we use. The other tool is our gift, our talent. I'm trying to decide where to put this corner of this room. So I'm sketching these lines in. I'm not sure where I want them yet on this page. I think I'm going to move this corner over to the left-hand side. This line, I first made it placed it on the right-hand side, but I want more room. I want more space so that I can do, so I'm not using this line here, okay? Not even using that line. For my purposes, I want some real drama. Here, so I have this line going here. You see this perspective? And I'm going to go ahead and place, there's a rug on the floor. I'm going to go ahead and see how I want that rug to play out. Okay. And I may really use that rug as a point of reference. Now I'm sketching in the chairs. I'm sketching in broad shapes. We sketch so that we can change our minds. I keep reiterating. The thing that I try to get kids to do is to learn to sketch. Now I'm using a B pencil, which is a pretty soft lead. I suggest you sketch with your H pencil. I'm not so concerned with superrealism at this stage of the game. I'm more concerned with, can I make a statement, some type of statement when I start painting with my gouache. Trying to figure out where this chair going to be. This chair is turned to the side. But basically I'm seeing a box-like shape and the chair is inside that box. It's sort of like I'm carving the chair out of that box-like shape. And this table is here. I'm going to change the table. We have a modern coffee table here. I don't want a modern coffee table for my purposes. So I'm going to create a different table. And I'm going to place the plant in the center of this table. This fern or whatever it is. I don't know what type of plant it is. See? I'm simplifying. The Impressionist actually painted light. He's considered a post-impressionist, but actually his work is really a precursor to the Impressionist movement. They learned a lot from Vincent Van Gogh, as we all have down through history. Vincent Van Gogh is an artist much like myself, was basically ignored. I think I'm ignored because I'm in the South. And you know, artists think about things like this. You know, when you dedicate your life to something, you think about, you know, was it all worth it? And I'm going to tell you, you'll never be happy unless you use your talent, your God-given gift. And it'd be nice if money made people happy, but you know, why are some of the meanest people have a lot of money? So, and that's an unhappy person. So, Vincent Van Gogh went through what a lot of artists go through. But, you know, he was a master then. You know, he's widely received. Now, his paintings would be considered priceless. People like Vincent Van Gogh, Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, those are the artists whose work we consider to be priceless. That means you couldn't put a price on it. This is, now what I've done is I made a mistake. I'm going to show you the mistake I made. This line is correct, but this line is not. This line should be more like this. I had this line leaning in the wrong direction. So let me get my eraser so you can see what I'm doing. Now I found out that was wrong because I found out that the legs of the chair was incorrect. Is there anybody watching? What? Or I keep going. We can still post it tomorrow. Okay, I keep wanting to do this the wrong way. That's what I want this to do that. Now, it's better. I don't need a lot of perfect detail on this because, again, we want color to do it all. And the photograph I'm using is just a reference. I'm not sure what colors I'm going to use, except I know I want to do a painting where I can use yellow. I know I want to use yellow. The perspective on this is very complex because the chairs are turned at different angles. I'm making this chair I'm drawing now, I'm going to make it much larger because it's closer to the viewer. And these lines are going to go like that. I know you heard my dog. My aunt is playing with the dog or something. We on live. Chester the studio dog. If you spend a lot of time in your studio and you have a pet, a dog or a cat, I suggest taking the pet to the studio with you. See how I changed that line, changed my mind about where that line goes? This is why we sketch. Now I may spray this before I start painting it. I haven't decided if I'm going to spray or not. Intentionally, I'm making this arm wider in here than that one. Open up the space a little more. So people go into this room and tell their stories. I'm changing where the bottom of the floor is. It's going to hit there. I'm going to leave some things out. I'm not going to just paint everything I see. I think I am going to paint the blinds. I want to show strong light coming through the window. Guess I may as well draw the window sill. I may go back and straighten some of these lines with a ruler. I don't need to, but I may do it. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to draw a box. To this box here. It's like a box on top of a box. But that's the chair is in this box. And since I'm tall shooting down, then you have a lot of weird perspective lines. So this would be one of the arms of the chair. I like the fact that this chair is orange. We're going to keep that color. This is another arm. It's on the same line as this line here. But it fits within this box form. The legs of the chair. It's going in the same direction as this line. See, I will use my ruler probably to straighten up some of those lines. But I'm using this box shape to know the direction so I can keep up with the direction. Sometimes you can just eye it in, but I wasn't doing too good eyeing it in, so I just drew a box. The back of the chair. So I can erase the box lines that I don't need. Okay, I'm just going to accentuate some of these lines if I can find my small ruler. Now, what I may do, the hardest thing is to just paint and not to be influenced by the photograph. If you're using a photograph, it's very difficult to ignore things in the photograph. But I want this to become abstract. And so in order to do that, I'm just going to exaggerate a few lines and with the ruler and put the photograph down. I may want to enhance this rug, though. I might pick the photograph up to, not to draw an exact rendition of the rug, but I like the rug. So here we have a very dirty drawing because I allowed my hands to touch the paper, and you shouldn't do that. And my hands are very oily today. So now I'm erasing to clean up the picture. And I'm trying to think in my mind how I want to approach the painting. But I have to sort of, and I've been thinking about this over the past few days, is that I want to share with you guys my personal way of working a little bit more. Because once you learn the basics of color and shape and all that good stuff and design, then you just want to do it your way. You don't want to do it my way. You want to do it your way. So what I've been trying to do is just show you ways of approaching it and things that you need to look out for when making your art. You can look at an interior in your own room. You know, we're spending a lot of time at home. It's the perfect time to make art. And I see it as an opportunity to make art. A lot of times you don't get the opportunity or the time, but we've been afforded time to catch up with our art. See, these soft lead pencils, they smear very easily. Yeah, I really don't like dirty drawings. It don't matter so much when you're going to paint, though, I guess. So this soft lead makes it difficult. But I think we're ready. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to lightly spray. And if you've been following along with me, it gives you time to catch up a little bit. Your picture don't have to look exactly like mine. I know I say that over and over again. Now, I need to know, on my picture I can't see the floor, so I'm going to imagine the floor being here. You know, it can't be there. This line should not be there. Now, when thinking about this, I've been thinking about this picture about 3 days. And what I want to do is, and I think that's the reason why I'm going back, making some really hard lines. I really want to exaggerate shapes with my painting. I mean, I know where this comes from, the painting, and that's enough for me. Sometimes when you're making art, you make art. Now, sometimes you make art to please other people, but the best art is the art that pleases you. And sometimes people don't understand your art, and that's some of the best art. The people who can really help critique your art are going to be other artists. People who do this and live this life. They are better equipped. Other people, they know what they like, but likes can change. Okay, so I'm going to, if I can find that spray, oh, there it is. I'm going to spray this lightly. So it don't smear anymore. And as usual, okay, we start with small shapes and go to larger shapes when we draw. And when we paint, it's a good idea to start with the lighter colors. So I know I want to use some yellow. And remember, I'm painting with gouache. And I want orange. I don't think I have any orange gouache, so I'm going to make an orange by mixing red and yellow. Do you see any tape, Iantha?
Yeah, you go.
It's amazing. Every time I do something, it's different. And so this paper wants to buckle for some reason. I didn't think it would buckle, so on purpose I did not tape it down. I'm going to use a flat brush because something tells me that's what I need to do. So let's see what happens. So this is all about color. Now remember, this is a room where people come in and tell stories. So this paint, it feels like poster paint. I'm painting on watercolor paper, 140-pound paper. You should paint on 140 pounds and up. Now, gouache it gets real chalky. Right off the bat, I want to use some watercolors right now on this part I'm painting. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I use water, can I smooth out some of it? I don't need that cup, so it doesn't matter. So with watercolors, it's not going to go on. So it's kind of like painting with chalk. So I can feel the surface of the gouache while I'm painting now. I was going to do this picture in acrylics, but I decided that first of all, I left my acrylics, the acrylics that I wanted to use, I left it at home, I think, or lost it on my way to this room. It may be in this room somewhere. I don't know. My studio is usually pretty junky. I don't do a lot of studio cleaning, except for when I have to, because I'm too busy working to think about that. Now, I'm telling myself in my mind to be free. And that's the main reason I'm not looking at the picture, because the picture can become a crutch. And I'm telling myself in my mind, you can forget what it is, and you can think about why it is. Why am I painting this? And I'm thinking about other artists that I know. Remember, I tell you kids to go visit museums and galleries. Now, you don't know what this is going to look like. So don't be disappointed if it don't look like what you think it was going to be. Because I am not trying to do something that anybody could do. I'm trying to do something that only I can do. And I may be successful, and I may not be successful. Red is such, look, I'm mixing red. It's so powerful that I mixed too much red. I'm trying to get an orange. Red is a powerful color. Remember that. In all the paints, acrylics, especially oil paints, when I paint in oil paints with red, it gets over everything. Very difficult to control, just like black. But red, man, really difficult. Really hard to control. So I'm just going to mix it with my brush now. I just had an idea about the rug. Okay, I can do that. This is about to get deep. Okay, now I'm about to get bold. Most kids are bold. That's what I like about Splash students. You guys are bold. And that's something you don't want to lose. That's why you can't listen to other people. It's, listen to your teacher, your art teachers. A lot of times when students are doing something, and I think that they may be painting themselves in a corner or they may have trouble later, I'll ask them, because I don't know, I'm not them, why are you doing that? And I'm going to take this tape up now. And it makes them think about why they're doing it. And if it makes sense, like, okay, at least you have a reason. And it may work and may not work, but at least you intentionally doing something, going somewhere. But a lot of times you don't know why you're doing it. I don't know why I'm doing red. The only reason why I'm doing this red is because that's what I feel. And that's good. Most kids, that's how you work. Don't ever lose that. A lot of times when you go to art school, you should take the teachers seriously in that they have more experience than you, but don't let your teachers take away from who you are as an individual. I mean, the teachers have the techniques, they have the knowledge, they have everything that you need to become a successful artist. As far as, I'm not talking about monetary success, I'm talking about in making art, the art that you want to make. But if you're not careful, you'll take the teachers so seriously that you'll stop doing what comes natural to you. So take the teachers seriously, but just know that they're just there. They are there to help you decide what you're going to do with your art. And when I say what you're going to do, I mean what your art, how you're going to paint or draw, the techniques that you're going to use, because you're going to create some techniques. But you need techniques in order to create techniques. Now, Van Gogh would use a lot of brush strokes. I'm not going to use as many brush strokes as Van Gogh, because I'm also thinking of another artist that's not even an impressionist, but he's an abstract artist. I'm thinking about Mondrian. But at some point, I need to think about Charlie Newton. So I can allow myself to be influenced. Now for me, in my work, I have a very Southern African approach to art making. So there's a quilt making element to what I do. And that's what's happening. That just kicked in. I know what goes here because what this looks like. So I'm using my own way of seeing, my intuition, the way I see things, what I'm seeing in my mind's eye, and I'm making decisions that I'll probably be able to live with, hopefully. I'm thinking about space, interior, and what I'm hoping to come from these storytellings. I'm hoping that our community will evolve, and I'm hoping that because of these stories, we will not lose our culture. And we have lost, black people, I'm talking about black culture. All of our landmarks have been taken from us in Chattanooga. Lincoln Park, Big Nine, some of these are major institutions. And when your spaces are taken from you, or if your history is lost, it can cause you to do some negative things. And I'm thinking our kids, that's one of the problems with some of the kids, is that they don't know who they are or where they come from. They're not proud. It's only because they haven't been taught to be proud. So I'm proud of coming from Chattanooga. I'm proud of being black, a black Chattanoogan. I'm proud of having African roots, heritage. I'm proud of being an artist. I'm proud of being a minister. I'm proud of being a husband. You know, just you have to love yourself. And knowing your history goes a long way in developing self-love. So people come to this room to tell stories, and hopefully the outcome, one of the outcomes is that we won't lose our history this time with the changes that's happening on the west side. But maybe more opportunity will come about, and maybe history will be preserved. So I hope these colors reflect that feeling, my hope for the future. Now, I may introduce one or two more colors, but the more colors you have, the less possibility of you having harmony. Okay. Let's introduce another color. Let's see. Now, I'm not a flat painter. So far, this painting is flat. So, in a minute, I'm going to just like paint intuitively to finish this. But I want to introduce another color first before that happens. I do not have any white gouache, which is what I need right now. But I have some white watercolors. Let's see. Wait a minute. No, that's not white. Yeah, here's some white. do have some white gouache. Okay. Thank you. Yes. I'm going to really abstract it now. I'm going to stop being so careful. Because I paint more like the abstract expressionist. I paint more like the de Koonings of the world. And I have some areas of flat color, so now I can go ahead and put some paint on and make it a little bit more classical in nature. Now, if the way I'm feeling now, if I had framed this, I would paint the frames. Howard Hodgkin. You remember that British artist, Ayantha?
Yeah.
That's sort of like, that's the vein I'm painting this in.
Oh, okay.
Can you tell what the marks I'm making now?
I think of that too, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing about Hodgkin is, and a lot of the British artists, say of the 1950s, I think, they had a certain way of painting abstract works that was sort of like neo-classicism, in my opinion. Neo means new. Like they were like classical artists, but they were painting in modern times. So you see how I'm getting very loose now with the art, with the paint. So this is an approach. And anybody who knows my art know that I love thick paint. I love thick brush work. Love different surfaces. See, now, if I stop thinking, I can really paint. So that's what I've done. Now I turned off my brain, just turned on my eyes. I'm very loose, not as careful. Like a lot of you kids, your art is kind of like that. And I learned a lot of this from kids, by the way, over the years. I love the way you can be creative and really get into the paint itself when you're painting and get lost in the painting. So you can see all these brush strokes here, but they are not like Van Gogh's brush strokes. Because Van Gogh's brush strokes are more like the Impressionists. But this is more like my brush strokes. So remember, it has to be you. It has to become you. Now, you might say, oh, he's messing that up. I may be. But so what? I'm not getting graded. Like sometimes kids, they get too they get too serious. Either they're too serious or they're not serious enough in art class. So I like what's happening here on this side. I have a lot of work to do on this side of the picture. And I'm trying not to add any additional colors because, like I said, you know, the fewer colors, the more harmony you're going to have in your picture. See how abstract this table is now? You know, I could paint the table brown. I could try to make it look realistic. One day I'll just show you some of my, if you go to my website, artistcharlienewton.com, you can see that I'm very eclectic. Sometimes I'm more realistic. Sometimes I'm very abstract. In 2020, I tried to be expressive with my brush strokes and my color. So that's what I'm doing now in 2020. So this is too flat for me, so I'm gonna mix this up in the back. Yeah. And now I'm gonna add a dark green, and that's gonna be the last color. I may add a dark bluish green. No, I'll save that. Yeah, why not? Sometimes you have to just go against your own instincts. Yeah, I think that's a better idea. Because I don't want anything to be obvious. Like, that's how anybody would do it. That's how everybody would do it. I want this to be unique to Charlie Newton's artwork. Okay, I like that. It worked the way I wanted it to. And I keep saying my name because you have to place your name in there. What's unique to you, who you are, when you paint? Because nobody paints like you. And that's why, you know, I encourage people to, like, okay, if a person is in class and they have to be in class, and I can't kick them out of class because their parents have to come back and get them or something, you know. I say, well, you know, if you don't want to do what we're doing, don't disturb anybody else. You don't have to do this. So we're doing this because we're doing this for fun. So, but don't disturb anybody else. That was a mistake, that white there, but it may not be a mistake here. I'm going to turn that white back to orange. I want some white on here, but I'm not sure where. Originally, I was going to put it up here, but I love that red up there, so I'm not going to put it there. White offers nice contrast. So, get back. Okay, now that's better. If I can put some down there. Yes. The white. Okay, I might put it back then. Okay, I'll try. I might put it back on there. Or lighten it anyway. Okay. Let's see. I got to do it there. I need some more yellow. Okay, that it makes it look too. Yeah, it does bring it forward, but see, that's the power of color. Color does things. Like this yellow is in front, almost in front of everything.
Yeah, I'm just letting one look
So now, Iantha is an artist too. And so you notice how we see things different? So this looks nice, but don't, I'm taking it back out. Remember I said it has to please you? I'm going to tone this yellow down. But you know what? I may put some white in this yellow back here. See how expressive this is getting to be? And this is my type of painting. So every artist see things differently. That's the point I'm trying to make. So when she said she liked that white, I said, let me look at it again. I looked at it and I said, no, I know why I took it out, because I didn't want it to do that. But if she could paint the same thing, it would look totally different. She could paint the same picture. Now this is what I do want to do though. Look what that did to that arm. Now this is getting to be fun for me now. It's getting to be a lot of fun. And it's all about having fun. Now I like this technique I'm using because you kids, all my splash students, you can do this. You can do this, what I'm doing right now. I'm about to now this may mess this picture up, but I have to try it. Well, no I don't. Well, I'll do it here. Look at Howard Hodgkin. See, when I'm making art, and when I'm looking at children's art, by the way we judge what art goes in an art show, I look at your work, and then I think about art history. I remember all the art I ever seen in my life, and I try to place your work in context with it. That's what the art world does as well. It's not a good way to judge art, but it's the only way to judge. Right now, it's one of the best ways in my mind to judge a child's artwork, because that way, if I place it in context, I can sort of imagine what other people will see. And if your art resembles some famous person's artwork, then I know, well, that's the reason why this person was famous. And so, someone might see your work and like it. Now, I need to do something bold here on this corner. You see how this is really becoming abstract? I don't want to do nothing to this, but this side is totally different from that side, which is not really a good thing necessarily. But it sort of works. Let's use some white again. We're going to outline this plant. Wow, I'm almost lost. I want to do something else here. I think we'll be finished once I do that little corner. So now we have art that's contemporary. It's not just painting pictures of chairs. I've used Van Gogh's concept of using color to show the power of a interior. Yeah. So that works. Now this is even more abstract now, isn't it? I'm going to go ahead and... So how I first started, it became the underpainting. But you can look up Howard Hodgkin and you see why I sort of went. These are artists that I really like. And I'm putting the paint on really thick here now. So his work influenced me for this painting and informed me for it. And this is ended up being a nice little painting. I'm going to actually stop there. Let's do this. Was that a mistake? Let's see. No, I just took it to the next level. So that's it. Oh, I'm glad. I'm going to put my initials on here. Because you have to put your initials. Always be proud of what you do. I'm very proud of this one. This is a nice little painting. I'm even thinking about what I could sell it for. So, man, I really enjoyed this time with you. We saw the power of color. And next time I'm going to finish that flash picture that I was doing. Now that we can see the different ways that you could use color. You can see that I can draw, I can paint, but I intentionally abstracted this piece to talk about, hopefully, the type of space that this is and how people use this space. So I hope your painting turns out well, and just keep working on it until you are happy with it. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, remember, art is for everyone. Bye-bye.